significant improvements in their confidence.
Wow.
Some people have maintained. There's been a very small percentage where the confidence maybe has gone down, and that's not always a bad thing.
And I know where you're going with this. So sometimes people come in with an unrealistic impression of themselves,
very
and we put surveys in front of them, and they'll say, what is your reading skill? 100. What is your confidence skill? 100. What is your... So what you're referring to, I believe, and correct me, is the fact that sometimes they sort of realize that 100% isn't really them, and a more realistic them is perhaps at 75 or 80, which is a very healthy place to be.
Which I consider such an amazing thing too, because now we have a level of awareness.
Right.
So it's easy to come in and just put 10, 10, 10, 10, I'm perfect at all of this. But then when you really think about it and you want to look at yourself realistically and have a good awareness, none of us are perfect.
Right, right. So that's, either way, it's a little bit of a success. You've got a nice setup there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Failure proof. It's wonderful. So, again, after the 5 days, I know that most of the people who go through it aren't necessarily done. And that doesn't mean that they didn't gain knowledge. But wouldn't they be in a better position to move on to more directed or targeted employment services or whatever their needs are because they've got a better self-awareness? Or am I jumping too quickly to that?
No, definitely within the 5 days, I get a better idea of what some of their barriers still are, where I'm still seeing gaps. I've had a client a while ago that one of the biggest gaps was lack of assertiveness. So feeling confident in some areas, but still not feeling confident enough to assert themselves when people, were maybe taking them for granted or, treating them poorly.
Right.
So, I might suggest, we have another program, what we call CYCLE, which is a conflict management program. Conflict doesn't mean just how to, deal well in a fight or
win
an
a
argument.
fight. Yeah,
that's not what it's about.
Right.
The majority of that is how to handle situations assertively. So where I see that as a gap for that individual, I might suggest them getting more information, meeting the coordinator of that program. That might be a next step intervention for them.
Right. So for you, within that continuum of service that you offer at reachAbility, the beginning and the end is not necessarily the confidence piece, but you definitely see it as a key to the beginning and allowing you to assess and look for other opportunities where they might continue to grow.
Yes.
I know you confer with the plan and the case managers and all of those things.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. But so what's happened with those clients? Are most of them moving on to something, or are they saying, thanks for the 5 days, it's been great meeting you?
Yeah, there's some different stats for different programs.
Correct.
But we all work together. Our coordinators all work together. It's all about how can we help this client, how can we support them best. So on average, if you took all the programs together, I would say there's about an 80%
really that are doing something else,
transitioning afterward. So that might be transitioning to school, might be work, part-time or full-time. It might be transitioning into another intervention, outside of reachAbility that's beneficial to them. But
I have to admit, those are high numbers.
Those are very high numbers, yeah.
Why? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Why?
Why are the numbers seemingly very high in terms of even wanting to move on and saying it's worthwhile continuing to invest my time and energy in this environment?
I'm going to come back to the many services for the few. So just right there, we have more time to spend with some clients. We have more programs to offer them, to offer that support. And because we're passionate, we really, really care what happens to our clients and where they proceed. So, and I think when you combine that, that's why you are seeing good results. Also, I think our programs, we put a lot of thought into how to build a good, solid program. We've had 10 years experience doing it.
Congratulations. I know it's 10 years this year.
It will be in June. That's right.
In June. Well, before we're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, I want to talk about some of the places you see your clients going and some of those results. I'm all about results. Love to hear it. So here on Eastlink TV, this is Inclusion Revolution. We're going to be right back with Natasha to talk more about confidence building and next steps. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Inclusion Revolution here on Eastlink TV. And again, thank you, Natasha Chestnut from reachAbility's Asset Program and an educational coordinator as well, for coming in and talking about the importance of self-confidence, but also those next steps once we start to gain it and where we need to go next if we're going to integrate persons with disabilities equally and create an equal playing field for them in the mainstream environments. And that's, of course, a very big issue for us here at Inclusion Revolution.
Yeah.
Now, when we broke, you were telling us that reachAbility has been providing those services for 10 years now, and I did want to give you a formal good going. 10 years in the nonprofit community is a good stretch, actually.
Yes, very good.
But to get back to our subject, which is after asset, if I can call it that. And you mentioned again your conflict resolution piece that I know is as well, 5 days. And how does it complement, first of all, asset? Because is it automatically considered that if you have low confidence, you probably need support in dealing with conflict or concerns like that?
I don't want to say it's automatic, but I definitely would say more often than not, you're going to see a trend of that. Like when you do have very low confidence, most often, at least in the clients I'm seeing, there is that inability to really assert themselves in situations, or being maybe overly aggressive, you know, to really get the point across. You know, it can go either way for sure. So I don't want to say it's automatic, but I would say there's definitely a trend.
Right, right. So we've done the asset program, and it's for all ages, is it not? Just to be clear?
Yes.
Okay, so anyone of any age who requires that.
16 and up.
16 and up, thank you. And so now they've got an option, and you said 85% or something, or 80% do tend to move on. So where are they moving on to? You mentioned cycle, but where are they moving on to?
Yeah, within our organization?
Well, for instance, you mentioned many services to the few. So some of them may be staying with you, and of course some you may refer to places, I understand. There's different programs all around the community. But if you were taking someone who, like, give me a scenario, if you would, of someone and where they might go and how it would work out. Like, walk me through a client who says, I don't know what I need, but I know I need asset.
Yeah. A lot of clients, what I'll notice is if they still have some gaps and stuff, I will usually recommend, and I'll always get them to talk to their case manager, but I will usually recommend one of our longer term programs, so like a Success 20 or like a Ready, Set, Go program. If the individual is a youth and feeling like they would like to be working soon, I might recommend like a 4Youth or a Gateway.
And I'll tell everybody to go to reachability.org, because all those words don't mean much to them.